What makes French Lick Resort a must-play for golfers?
Well, I think we offer something for golfers of every skill level, and we offer something for golfers who have different tastes. For example, the Valley Links golf course that we're in, or the shop we're standing in, is set up to be more of a family course experience. It's a regulation 9-hole golf course, and the back tee yardage for 18 holes is around 7,000 yards. But we also have 5 other sets of tees that range from 1,100 yards up. So we have a course here that's very family friendly. Kids under 12 play free. If they don't have clubs, we have junior clubs that we loan them. And families get out here and enjoy golf, and they're together on the course. And I think that's key in growing the game of golf. It needs to be something that families can enjoy together. Then we have, for the golfer who likes the classic design, the Donald Ross golf course, you won't find a better classic golf course than the Ross. It's built on the lay of the land back in 1917. The undulating greens are something that makes it very unique. The deep bunkers, pretty typical Donald Ross, and we did a restoration on that golf course in 2006 back to its original design. So it's really a special play, and it's been an Indiana favorite, a Midwest favorite for many years. We're pretty proud of the job that Lee Schmidt and his team and Michael Fay from the Donald Ross Society did in the restoration.
Sure.
Then the third part is the Pete Dye course at French Lick. The course was built starting in 2006, opened it in 2009. It was voted America's best new golf course by all the major publications. It's a modern marvel. It's 8,100 yards from the back tees. Pete's thinking is that in 10 years, if the ball and the club technology keeps advancing as it has, that you'll need an 8,100 yard golf course to be competitive, or to be a challenge for the professional player. And so that golf course is it. The widest fairway is 85 feet wide. The greens are fairly small by today's standards, and it's a challenge. However, again, 5 sets of tees, ranges from 4,800 yards on up to 81. So there's really a good mix of options for the player there. And it's a special day of golf. It's not just a one-round deal. It's a day-long experience, and golfers go there in the morning and they stay till late evening, and we take extra special care of them. It's more of a private experience. Our tee times are on 20-minute intervals, and we really gear that to the player who wants privacy and wants an exclusive experience. And then our fourth option that we just acquired in January, we're now managers of the Sultan's Run Golf Club over in Jasper, Indiana, which is just a very scenic parkland through the woods, through the hills golf course. Tim Liddy did a redesign on it in the 90s, and it's turned out to be a great surprise for us. The play there has been tremendous this spring. The golf course is in good shape, and it's a nice price option. But we're able to package all these courses with stays here in the resort, and it just makes for a special golf destination.
Pete Dye considers the Pete Dye course at French Lick his best design outside of on inland, I guess, as I understand it. What are some of the things Pete has told you? But you say this is Pete's baby. Why is Pete involved so much?
Well, I think the fact that it's late in Pete's career. Pete's 85, and this is his latest major project in the country. He's still doing a lot of work with TPC Sawgrass and tweaking some of his other designs, and he's working down in the Dominican a little bit, but this was a big project for him. He'll tell you himself that it was his biggest project, and that the fact that it's right here in Indiana where he lives made it very special. And the way he does business, and the way the Cook Group, the owner company here, does business, it's a handshake deal, and they just made a great team as they progress down the road to construction on this thing, and he's very proud of it, and he's made no secret that it's his favorite inland design.
Okay. One other, I guess, as a follow-up to that, let's talk about Mr. Cook for a moment, because he made pretty much all this happen. I mean, his story is really incredible. This is most people, when they have philanthropy, they think of foundations, charities, changing the world, and his idea looked like was to put a whole community to work.
Well, the Orange County, Indiana had Indiana's highest unemployment rate in 2004 at about 13.5%. And when the French Lick Resort closed after Mr. Cook purchased it, we had about 350 employees. When we reopened the resort, we wound up having about 1,300. So 1,000 people who didn't have jobs before now had jobs, and it's really changed the lives of many people in the area. It's changed the culture, and it's given us a great sense of pride as to what can be accomplished with a little bit of help.
Sure. I understand, well, actually I don't understand, that the amount of dirt that was moved on that course, I don't know if there's stats or something on it, but I mean, I heard it cost 40 million to build that course?
No, I think it's more than the 25 million, but you know, Pete doesn't really know how much dirt he moved, and I guess you'd have to decide if you meant moving it the first time or moving it the third, fourth, and fifth time, because he moved some of it around a lot. And that's sort of typical Pete, that he would start and he would position it, and then he would look at it and say, well, it doesn't work here, we need to move it over there.
Yeah, I played one hole, I think it was number 12, where they actually, I understand from Jan that they put a golf channel was here and they had a tower up there, and Pete said, well, I think we should have a tee box up there.
Yeah, and it worked out great for TV, especially because of par 4. And of course, I had a lecture from Pete early on that there's no such thing as a drivable par 4. If you can hit it off the tee, it's a par 3. But we did play it as a drivable par 4, about 312 yards, and it was downhill, so a lot of guys went for it. Of course, if you miss the green, there's a whole different set of challenges. But had a few people drive it on there.
It's pretty nice when the public can play a course that was a prior championship, and I guess it was the PGA Championship way back when in 1924. But it's still, I'll tell you what, it is still an extremely challenging golf course, even though it was hickory sticks and persimmons then, and now it's, I don't even know what the space age stuff they're putting in the clubs now.
Well, you know, the special part about that golf course and the clubhouse especially is it reeks of history when you pull up there. You know, you can just almost feel the historic significance of the place as you walk in the clubhouse. You see the clubhouse restored back to sort of a period-looking clubhouse with the high ceilings, and then we've got all the nostalgic photos and the historic facts and trophy case and all that. And you can look at where golf came from in Indiana and in French Lick and where it is today. But yeah, it's a challenging golf course. It never gets old. I think the great thing about it is you don't have to hit the ball long off the tee. You know, if you're fairly accurate with your irons, or if you're a good chipper and a good putter, then you can score on that golf course. And that's sort of typical Donald Ross, that he sets it up where it's fair for everyone.
Yeah. Well, I noticed the rough, though, it's a thick one.
Yeah, this time of year especially, we're getting a lot of growth early, and it's a little bit of a pill to keep up. We've mowed wall to wall from the time we opened until now, and still having a challenge. We're actually getting ready to lower the rough cut a little bit in the intermediate, about 20 feet on each side of the fairway for the tournament, so that it's a little more playable. But yeah, if you get it in the rough, and if you get it in the heather, forget it.
Yeah.
Forget it.
Walter Hagen won that championship back in 1924. Are there any stories on Hagen ever come back here after that? Or
you know, Hagen came back here in 1968. I think Hagen died in '69, but they brought him back here in 1968, and they gave him a suite in the hotel, and he spent a week or so here at that time. And I think he talked to people. You know, they allowed folks to come in and visit with him, and they had him in this suite. And one of the requirements was he had plenty of scotch. And I think after about 10 days of that week, you know, he went like 3 days extra. The GM came to the catering manager. He said, "My God, we're going to run out of scotch if you don't get Hagen out of here." But it was pretty special, I guess, to have him here to hear the stories. Of course, he was pretty elderly at that time, but it was kind of a nice thing to have him back.
What 3 holes on the Donald Ross course will most likely settle the Big Ten Women's Championship?
Well, I think there are a number of holes. I think as you look at the backside, 13 is a difficult hole for the women. It's a long par 3, and there's not really much room to miss the green. I think that hole could be key, or could be a turning point. Let's say it that way. I've seen a lot of tournament play out there, and going into that hole when you make the turn there at 12 and start back toward the clubhouse at 13, it can get difficult. And that time of the year, there's usually a pretty strong south wind, so you're looking at a ladies' par 3 that's about 185 yards dead into the wind, and then it's followed by 2 par 5s dead into the wind. So those 3 holes, just for the fact of the wind and the length of the holes, could be crucial. And of course, the 18th is a great finishing hole. That's another end of the wind hole where you have to drive it 220 to get it to the top of the rise, and then you got about another 200 into the green. So they could all four be challenging.
Sure. Anything else you'd like to add? Anything?
I just think that the folks who've come to French Lick, I've talked to a lot of people around the country about golf in French Lick, and the thing I always hear is, well, we used to go there. 30 years ago we went there. My grandparents went there. My parents took us there when we were kids. They have memories of French Lick, but they don't understand the magnitude of this project that the Cooks undertook until they actually come here and see it. And I think you'd have to agree you have to see it.